developing story tonight, we could see new federal laws having to do with safety guidelines at churches. The move was made by Michigan lawmakers following the deadly attack at a church in Grand Blanc Township. News Channel 3's Ava Ray joining us live in Portage tonight after speaking with a local pastor. And Ava, lawmakers are calling this the Pray Safe Act.
Jess, this is federal legislation being introduced by our two U.S. senators. The Pray Safe Act would create a federal clearinghouse for houses of worship. The pastor I spoke to today said it's a balancing act between keeping the church doors open and ensuring people are still safe. U.S. Senators Gary Peters and Elissa Slotkin introduced the bipartisan Pray Safe Act in response to a deadly shooting at a church in Grand Blanc Township. The bill would require the Department of Homeland Security to create a central hub for houses of worship to access safety trainings, security guidelines, and federal grant programs.
We've talked about the safety issue. It's come up several times, particularly anytime we hear about some church shooting, and particularly we are an open and affirming congregation, which means we're very welcoming to all people, particularly LGBTQ+ people, which makes some of our folks nervous we might be a target.
Pastor Schooneman says while resources are welcome, her congregation has chosen to keep its doors unlocked during worship.
It is a difficult choice because it would make us all feel safe to lock our doors, but that does not feel like a very church-like thing to do. As far as the bill goes, I appreciate very much their concern for houses of worship.
In a statement, the Michigan Catholic Conference said, quote, "Churches are where folks rightly come and pray for peace in response to violence and senseless loss of life. Legislation that seeks to help protect houses of worship and their congregants is welcome and deserves analysis and review." Schooneman says she'd support the bill if it helps faith leaders come together not just to address security, but to speak out against violence itself.
The violent rhetoric only encourages violent action. If we could just stop and listen, and we might not agree with each other, but we have to listen.
She says her message to congregations is to stay grounded in faith, even as safety concerns grow.
I hope that they really make sure it works, not so much to end the violence, but so that we faith leaders can come together and support one another in these violent times as we're trying to support the members of our congregations.
The Pray Safe Act is still in its early stages. It still needs to pass both the Senate and the House before being signed into law. And although we were unable to reach other places of worship tonight, the lawmakers say the bill would apply to all religions. Live in Portage, Ava Ray, News Channel 3.